Thanks a lot, Aiden. Why didn't you remember him? Poor guy. All right, so let's go on with the Aztecs. So the Aztecs were a tribe living in Central America. They were in Mexico, southern Mexico, and they were nomadic. And they were wandering around, and no one wanted the Aztecs there. It made them so sad. They would go and they'd say, "We don't want you here. Don't be here. We don't like you," because they thought the Aztecs were weird. They didn't like them because they did, a little sacrifice here and there. I mean, can you blame them? So what they did was they wound up going and saying, "All right, you have one job you're allowed to do. Since you're good at killing people, Simon, you can kill people for me, okay? That will be your job. You will be a mercenary." But now, those of you who are writing in person, especially for poor Sarah, who has never had to write a Mr. Kenny like PowerPoint before, you want to get the big ideas. You don't want to go write every single word typically because your hand will literally fall off. Ask Saya. She's had 3 replacement hands having me last year. So, you get the Aztecs wandered as nomads. No one wanted them around because they did human sacrifice. Because here's the thing. The Maya did human sacrifice. They did. But it wasn't as big of a deal as it was for the Aztecs, because literally the Aztecs thought the sun would not rise if they did not give blood to Huitzilopochtli. And obviously, if the sun does not rise, it'd be very dark. And Claire Bear will tell you plants need sunshine. And if they don't get sunshine, then they die. And then you find out that you're very hungry because none of your food has grown. And then, of course, you kick the bucket too. And you'd be cold because no sunshine. It'd be terrible. So people did not like the Aztecs. They let them be mercenaries. And the Aztecs were okay with this mercenary business because they would capture people. They capture Campbell. And then because Campbell's a brave warrior, they would sacrifice her.
Why would they kill them?
Probably because you're close by right now. Sorry, hon. So they were fine with this because they would do the sacrifices. They would capture people, kill them, sacrifice them. Big mess. This whole here is kind of summing up with what we've talked about. So if you have the idea that the Aztecs were nomads, no one wanted them around because they killed people, you're good. All right? Coolio? Awesome. How you doing there? Yes. 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 You good there, Barrier? Woo! He's good. Actually, the correct answer is no one is good. Simon, come on. You should have learned that Sunday school, right? He just gave me a great look, folks. All right. So now Tenochtitlan is going to be the capital for the Aztecs. Now they get there. It's a great story. All right. Now there's a couple different variations of the story of how the Aztecs get to Tenochtitlan. But the basic gist is one day, as mercenaries for their payment, they were promised land. They were so excited. A home from their own. Isn't that going to be great? No more wandering. Now, of course, this land was covered with poisonous snakes and other terrible, nasty things that are really going to ruin your day. They didn't put that in the agreement. They just said, we'll give you this land. By the way, there's poisonous snakes. Ha ha. So Aztecs do the bidding. They get their poisonous snake land. Wasn't great land. And they live there. And they even go and start making a peace treaty with neighboring tribes. And of course, back then, as so often is, the peace treaty is signed with a marriage. The princess would marry an Aztec prince. It was going to be her most wonderful day. Because let's face it, every little girl / Mr. Kenny dreams of their wedding day, or dreamt of their wedding day because I'm already married. So, yeah. Right, Campbell? Dreaming of the wedding day, right? Right? One day? Okay, they say no, but at least that's the cliche. They always say that they dream of their wedding. I don't know. I'm not a girl. I couldn't tell you. Don't worry about it, Campbell. The princess goes to the Aztecs early to prepare for the wedding ceremony. But can you already tell that this isn't going to be a regular wedding, guys? I mean, come on. Mr. Katie's not going to tell the story if it's just like, and they got married happily ever after her, right? No, that doesn't happen at all. You might want your little brother to go away because this is not a family friendly. So the girl is ready. She is confronted by the Aztec priest, who then as you know, sacrifices her, but it gets better than just sacrificing the princess, guys, because they are going and reenacting a ritual in their mythology where not only do they sacrifice her, where of course they take her up top of a pyramid, they remove her heart, and they push her down the pyramid, but that, I know, right? But then the priest removes her skin. I know, right? Gross. That's why I said get your brother out of there. And gets the skin off and then makes a princess costume out of her skin. And so now, so this is all happening before the wedding is supposed to transpire. I know. No, she's dead. Her heart was removed. Oh, man, let's not make it worse than it already was. So, Daddy and the whole wedding party come to the Aztecs for the wedding ceremony. And does he see his beautiful daughter in her fine wedding gown on the happiest day ever? No! Instead, he sees the Aztec priest wearing his daughter's skin as a costume thing, doing a weird dance. Now, I am a father of a little girl. And I look forward to the day, although there's some trepidation, because obviously the terror, because it's my little girl, of when I walk her down the aisle. And I'm sure your daddies are excited about that kind of aspect too. How do you think your daddies would feel if they came to a wedding and saw some priest wearing your skin as a costume? It's their religion, man. Yeah, okay. Isha, is that a hand up? I can't tell. How would your daddy feel in that situation? Savannah says she doesn't know. Okay, Mia at least says, yes, Dad would be mad. Thank you, Mia, for having any common sense with this. Yeah, he'd be furious. I would be furious. So, instead of a wedding happening, the king of the neighboring tribe gets the soldiers together and they chase the Aztecs. And like it's like just like the cartoons. The Aztecs are running, the people are behind them going. There's probably like smoke lifted up everywhere. And they get chased into a swampy land. And this swampy land, they get chased all the way there. In the middle of the swamp, a cactus. And on the cactus was an eagle. And that eagle is eating a poisonous snake. And they see that it is a sign from Huitzilopochtli that this marsh, this swamp, will be the new home of the Aztecs. And there we have Tenochtitlan. Yes, he would be very mad, Isha. You are probably the apple of his eye. Like, come on. So that's how the Aztecs get to Tenochtitlan. But here's the thing. Then the tribe, they stop chasing them because it's a swamp. Okay, yeah, what are they going to do in the swamp? They're going to die in the swamp. They're going to get bitten by like bugs that are going to give them diseases. They're not going to have any food. But that doesn't happen. The Aztecs are going to build one of the greatest cities the world has ever seen. They're going to turn the swamp into an amazing city with farmland and all sorts of awesomeness. So Tenochtitlan, it's going to have a population of over 250,000 people, which I know you're saying, Mr. Kenny, there are cities that have millions of people that live in them now. Yeah, that's now. Back then, 250,000. This is one of the largest cities in the world at that time. Yeah. And they're doing it in a swamp. A swamp, my cherubs. Okay? And they are going to turn that swampland into dry ground, and it's going to be so cool. All right? You guys coolio?
Huh?
You guys good?
No.
Hey, at least you weren't the one that got married and skinned and stuff. So here's another picture of Tenochtitlan. We have a big center area. We're going to have these causeways going through around. It's going to be awesome. Now, can anyone think of what would an advantage be of having your city in the middle of the lake? What would be an advantage? What would be a plus of having a city in the middle of the lake? Sarah?
You get to wake up and look at water.
Okay. You get to wake up to the beautiful sights. I like it. I mean, oh my gosh, golly, a mask. I moved to Jefferson, Maryland, from a townhouse to a beautiful area with over an acre of land. And I love waking up and seeing the beauty. So yeah, that would be a plus. Wonderful, darling. Thank you. Clarosaurus Rex. Don't worry, I'll get to you online peeps too. Harder for enemies to come get to it, Claire Bear says. What say you, Charity?
Natural resources,
Natural resources, like what?
like drinking water.
Yeah, water. You're never going to have to worry about drought or anything like that. Aya, what are you going to say, darling?
Well, I was gonna say it's harder for enemies to get you.
Okay, you had the defense thing. Good job. Love it. Gamble.
Trade.
Trade, which maybe. It depends on if there's rivers going into it. Because otherwise, it's like you just got the water around you. Like, well, that's nice. Is that a handout, Madeline, or no? You okay? Do you have a headache? Okay. Let me know if you need anything, sweetie. Yes. Fish, yes. You get to eat the fish. Celine says fertile land, and they are going to make some fertile land. What up, Mamma Mia?
Water for crops.
Water for crops. Cool. Fish are actually good if they're cooked properly. Got to try stuff, broski. Here are some ruins of Tenochtitlan. We see part of the. Oh, Charity, did you have something else, darling, or did you forget to press the button?
Forgot to press the button.
Sorry if I'm like getting into your bubble. All right. Here is the Great Temple. Here's a statue. So one of the cool things is the Aztecs, because space was such a premium, they literally would just build on top of what they had, which is actually something ancient people did all the time, much to the frustrations of archaeologists today, because it's like they're digging and then like they have to dig further to find older stuff, but then they mess up something. A little bit, kind of. Here's some more aspects of the temple there. We're going to talk lots about that temple later on in the week. Let's see. Well, we're going to talk about Chinampas today. Let's see. We've got 11:29, and I have you guys captive. I mean, as my students, until 11:55. Can we talk about Chinampas? I'll tell you what. We're going to pause it at that point. We're going to pause it at that point right there. So that will be our notes for the day. And so what we are going to do now, my chirps, we are going to be looking at, because I don't want your homework to take like more time than the class really, because now classes are longer. So you're not going to have that super long afternoon time to like work on things. Does that make sense? So this is not a situation where I say, now notes are over, and then like, you know, Sahil logs off his computer so fast, like, you know, you still see like an image of him like going. So no, don't do that. This is work time. This is not like, I'm going to now go play Xbox. Don't. Okay, it's school. You don't play Xbox in the middle of school. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to our Tuesday, and we're going to Tenochtitlan graphic novel questions. All right? And for you people that are here, I have a real copy. Now, when you are at school, you can do real copy. You can do it on the computer. If you do real copy, you can either A, hand it to me. That does not mean stick it on my cart. That does not mean stick it on my desk. That does not mean throw it on the floor. It means hand it to me. Or you could like snap a picture of it, do it digitally. Okay? Or you could just do it digitally. Yes, Aya, my dear?
It's unpublished, so we can't see it.
Yeah, it sure is. Let me publish that bad boy in a moment. I blame Claire Bear. Yes, yeah, she is a unpublisher monster. Yeah. And she admits it. Sorry. Why would that be unpublished? It's supposed to be published. Woo! We are. Yes. All right, now there's great rejoicing. We're published. Woo! So hit that little refresh keys button if you need. Oh, and I'm gonna stop recording. Silly Mr. Kenny. Yes.